Throughout the course of human history, weapons utilized in warfare have not only been judged on their effectiveness in killing, but also the ability to instill fear and panic into enemy combatants and civilians. The usage of sound has been a highly efficient method of psychological warfare, ranging from thunderous war drums to playing haunting audio recordings on a loudspeaker. My name is Liam Smith, and in today's video, I'm going to take a look at some of the most terrifying sounds from the Vietnam War. Welcome to World War Military History. During the Vietnam War, the US military conducted a psychological tactic against the North Vietnamese to decrease enemy morale and encourage desertion. These chilling audio recordings played upon the Vietnamese beliefs that showed respect for the dead. They believed that if a person was improperly buried, they would walk the earth as a wandering soul. To capitalize upon this, US engineers spent weeks recording a series of eerie sounds and distorted voices for the tapes. To add authenticity in the recordings, Vietnamese soldiers provided their voices. One such recording, called Ghost Tape Number 10, was played on loudspeakers installed upon helicopters, PCF boats, and infantry with loudspeakers near Viet Cong positions at night. The men would hear the disembodied, tormented cries of a man looking for his family, warning his fellow soldiers to go home. Along with this, they would hear the sound of a girl crying for her father.
Wandering Soul is a tape that has been put out by the Psychological Operations Battalion and Benoit, is used by the operating divisions and separate brigades to broadcast a rally appeal to the Viet Cong.
Originally built in the 1950s to carry nuclear weapons, the B-52 STRATOFORTRESS, or BUF, epitomized America's military strength. It became a powerful weapon in the Vietnam War, and its first mission took place on June 18, 1965, during Operation Arclight, when it dropped conventional bombs on Viet Cong forces. The aircraft's most famous mission was on the 18th to the 29th of December 1972 during Operation Linebacker 2, an 11-day strategic bombing campaign, dropping over 20,000 tons of ordnance on military and industrial areas in Hanoi and Haiphong. An unmodified B-52 could only carry 27 500-pound or 750-pound bombs, but when it was upgraded, with the big belly, it could carry over 84 500-pound or 42 750-pound bombs. What's particularly frightening about this aircraft was that since it operated from heights of up to 50,000 feet, The North Vietnamese forces couldn't see or hear the approaching bomber and its deadly cargo from the ground. During the Vietnam War, the mere sight and sound of a Douglas AC-47 must have been terrifying and impressive to say the least. First seeing operational service in 1964, it was originally designated as the FC-47 Fighter Cargo, before it was changed to AC-47 Attack Cargo, after complaints by fighter pilots persuaded the redesignation. The gunship was a modified Douglas C-47 Skytrain, the highly successful military transport aircraft that was used by the Allies during World War II. In November of 1965, the gunship was given the call sign Spooky, a name which suited the aircraft, due to it mainly operating at night, circling the battlefield for extended periods, dropping illumination flares and pelting out rounds at an unprecedented rate. It's quite undeniable how much fear it instilled into Viet Cong troops. Each gunship was equipped with 3 7.62mm miniguns. All 3 guns were trained out of the left side of the plane to concentrate firepower on a single target. Every 5th round fired from the minigun was a red tracer which was used to assist in aiming. Each minigun could cycle through a staggering 6,000 rounds per minute. The gunship eventually came to be known as Puff the Magic Dragon due to the intense red tracer stream produced from the aircraft at night. The 2 most distinctive firearms used in the Vietnam War were the American M16 and the Soviet AK-47. The M16 assault rifle was first fielded to the US Air Force in Vietnam in 1964, with the Army following suit. Eventually, over the coming years, it superseded the M14 rifle as the US military's standard service rifle. Fed by a 20-round box magazine, the rifle fired a 5.56mm NATO round, was lighter, gas-operated, and was able to fire up to 950 rounds per minute. The rifle could interchange between fully automatic and semi-automatic fire. It was also recognizable by its large triangular foresight, carry handle, and aluminium fiberglass components. US troops would often finish their training with M14s and then receive the M16 on the front line. Due to the rapid deployment of the rifle early in the war, soldiers were not given proper training on how to use the weapon effectively. The original M16 model was plagued with a number of complications. Reports indicated that the rifle was prone to jamming due to poor ammunition, and soldiers were not originally issued with cleaning kits. In 1964, the US Army had changed the propellant for the rifle's ammunition because it was easy to mass produce. This led to a higher chamber pressure and increased muzzle velocity, but also caused more fouling in the weapon. Many of the issues that plagued the early M16s were resolved over the coming years with improved cleaning kits and a comic book style manual that provided clear instructions on maintaining the weapon. The rifle was also upgraded to the M16A1 with improved components and ammunition. The AK-47, or Automatic Kalashnikov 47, is perhaps the most iconic assault rifle of all time. It was fielded in huge numbers to the Vietnamese Communist forces by the Soviet Union and China. In comparing this weapon to the M16, the AK-47 was not as accurate, but was seen overall as the more reliable weapon because of its robustness and ability to function in the harsh jungle conditions. There were also some instances of US soldiers preferring to use the AK-47 over the M16 due to the issues that I mentioned earlier.
But after the battle was over, the men told a grisly tale of rifle after rifle jamming on them during the fight. This lineup of rifles, all M16s which had malfunctioned during the battle, was silent testimony to the same fact. One of the men in the battle was PFC Stuart Dennis. Tell us what happened yesterday.
When I got out to the battle forward area, there was a firefight with the VC. There were heavy concentrated fire from our side to the VC. There was 16s jamming a great deal. The men were putting up the best they could, but the 16 would keep jamming. They'd throw it down and try and grab another one. And another man would come by and pick this one up because his had also jammed.
What was causing the jamming of the M16s, do you know?
It seems that the excessive firing through the 16 will cause it to jam after a certain period of time.
I understand that one of the men that was killed in the battle was carrying the Russian-made rifle that the Viet Cong used, the AK-47.
That's affirmative. He's carried it ever since I've known him. A great number of the men prefer the AK-47 to the M16.
American ammunition doesn't fit in the Russian rifle. How would he get ammunition?
He can buy it off the Arvins, or he can capture it off the dead VC.
The manufacturers of the M16 claim that it's the soldiers' fault that they don't keep it clean. What do the men think of that?
Well, cleanliness is a problem with the M16, but in the conditions around here, it's impossible to keep it as clean as they might think it should be clean. So I figure it's the weapon and not the men.
Comprised of wood and stamped iron, the AK-47 was an air-cooled gas-operated rifle, firing a 7.62mm M43 round, with a curved 30-box magazine, and could cycle through 600 rounds per minute. Like the M16, the AK-47 was capable of switching between semi-automatic to automatic fire. The most recognizable variant of the AK-47 during the war was the AKM. In the heat of combat, the sound of a firefight between the US and Viet Cong forces must have been absolutely terrifying. What's more frightening was the silence before an impending battle. No helicopter in history is more recognizable as the Bell UH-1, or Huey. A workhorse and icon during the Vietnam War, the Huey was used in a variety of combat roles, such as close air support, acting as a gunship, the transportation of troops to the front line, and medical evacuations during the heat of combat. The Huey transported over 2 million wounded soldiers and civilians throughout the course of the war. The helicopter was armed with a variety of weapons, ranging from the M60 machine gun to the 2.75-inch rocket. The UH-1 and its many variants flew over 7.5 million flight hours. It was also the most mass-produced helicopter in American history, with 16,000 being built between 1955 and 1976. Over 7,000 Hueys would see action in Vietnam. The most distinctive feature of the Huey was the rhythmic thumping sound caused by the two-bladed main rotor system. A North Vietnamese or Viet Cong soldier hearing the sound of an approaching Huey followed by gunfire must have been a frightening ordeal.
This is 4-3, read you 5.
What's the story?
This is 4-3, interrogative, your intentions this time.
This Kilo,
We're still receiving automatic weapons fire from the beach there. This is 4-3, do you have the smoke on the beach?
This Kilo, that's affirmative, over.
Roger, that's the target area there.
Kilo, roger. Now, this is Kilo, we'll make a firing run, over.
Kilo, this is 4-3. Let me know when you commence your run and we'll come in behind you there.
Thank you so much as always for watching. I really enjoy making these history videos. And don't forget to give us a like and to subscribe for more content. Until then, stay tuned. I'll see you next time.